If you ever find an old cassette tape in a dead person's house, do not press play. Not even once. Because some voices don't stay in the past. Some voices wait for you to listen, and then they learn your name. My name is Sarah. I am 26 years old. And 3 months ago, I found my mother's voice trapped inside a plastic box the size of my palm. I want to tell you exactly what happened, in order, because if I don't say it out loud, I think it will happen again. I think saying it keeps me safe. For now, please, just listen to the whole thing before you decide I'm crazy. By the end, I think you'll understand why I can't stop looking over my shoulder. Part 1. The empty house. My mother died in March. Cancer. Slow, then fast. The way the doctors always warn you it will be. I was with her at the end, holding her hand in a hospital room that smelled like bleach and flowers that were already dying in their vases. Her last words to me were soft, almost a whisper. She said, "Sarah, don't listen to anything that sounds like me if I'm not really there." I thought it was the medicine talking. She was on so much morphine by then. Her mind wandered. She said strange things all week, about shadows in the corner, about a man standing by the window who wasn't there, about a song she kept hearing that nobody else could hear. One night she woke up gasping and told the nurse, very calmly, that someone had been sitting on the edge of her bed, humming, and that the humming had her own voice in it. The nurse wrote it down as a hallucination, one line in a folder full of similar notes, and moved on to the next patient. I held my mother's hand and told her she was safe, that I was there, that nothing could hurt her. I didn't understand what she meant. I still don't, not fully, but I understand enough now to be afraid. After the funeral, it fell on me to clean out her house. I'm an only child. My father left when I was young, and it was always just me and Mom in that small house on Maple Row with the creaky third step and the kitchen window that never closed all the way. I hadn't lived there in years, but walking through the front door again felt like stepping into a museum of my own childhood. Everything smelled like her perfume, like old paper, like dust settling on furniture that hadn't been moved in decades. Her reading glasses were still sitting on the arm of the couch, folded neatly, waiting for a woman who was never coming back to pick them up. I gave myself 2 weeks to sort through everything. Clothes to donate, furniture to sell, photographs to keep. It was slow, heavy work, the kind that makes your chest hurt, even when your hands are just folding sweaters. Some days I got through 3 boxes. Some days I sat on the floor of her bedroom and cried for an hour and got through nothing at all. On the 5th day, I went up into the attic. I hadn't been up there since I was a kid, maybe 10 years old, playing hide and seek with a cousin who has long since stopped speaking to the family. The attic was smaller than I remembered, low-ceilinged, thick with dust that floated in the one beam of light coming through a small round window. Boxes were stacked everywhere, some so old the cardboard had gone soft and brown at the corners. There was a smell up there too, something under the dust, something faintly sweet and a little bit rotten, like flowers left too long in stale water. I started opening the boxes one by one. Old baby clothes, folded so small they looked like they belonged to a doll. Photo albums with plastic pages gone yellow and cracked. A box of my father's old vinyl records, which surprised me. I thought she'd thrown out everything of his the day he left. And then near the back wall, tucked behind a rolled-up rug that smelled like mothballs, I found a small wooden box I didn't recognize. It was old, dark wood, with a little brass clasp gone green with age. It wasn't locked. Inside, sitting on a bed of faded red velvet, was a single cassette tape. No label. No writing anywhere on it. Just a plain black cassette. The kind you'd find in a bargain bin at a thrift store. But it wasn't dusty like everything else in that attic. It looked clean, almost new, like someone had placed it there recently, even though the box around it looked like it had been sealed for 20 years, maybe longer. The velvet underneath, it hadn't even flattened the way old velvet does. It looked like the tape had simply appeared there, resting, waiting. I don't know why, but I picked it up and held it to my chest for a moment, the way you'd hold something precious. Something told me this mattered. Something told me my mother had touched this last, that her fingers had been the last fingers on its plastic edges, and that holding it made me a little closer to her. I should have left it there. I know that now. I think somewhere underneath all my grief, some small animal part of me already knew that too, and I ignored it because grief makes you deaf to your own warnings. Something about the room was wrong before anyone could say exactly what.